I just audited Alex Hormozi's TikTok channel, and I found 13 data points that make the biggest difference between his winners and the ones that performed the worst. Let me share that with you right now. Now, the difference between the top 5 performers and the bottom 5 performers is huge. It's over 7,000% difference, and the difference in likes is 17,000% difference. Now, how did I pull this data? I went to his TikTok channel and I pulled his 60 most recent posts, and I found a lot of data. Let's talk about topics. In his bottom 5 performing videos, 60% of the videos he talked about was about philosophy. In his top 5 performers, 60% of the time, he was talking about money. Now, the format of what he was talking about in the bottom 5% was 100% teaching or theory, where he was teaching a concept. And in the top 5%, 85% of the time, he was telling a story. Now, here's something else that's interesting. In the bottom performing videos, he was always looking off camera. He was not looking straight at the camera. It's called off camera. And in the top 5, all of his videos, he was either looking right at the camera or he was being interviewed. This is very, very interesting. Now, people ask me all the time, how long should my videos be? And I usually say make it as short as possible, as long as it's interesting. But let's let the data do the talking. In the bottom performing videos, the average length was 36 seconds, whereas in the top 5 performers, the average length was 49 seconds. So I told you at the beginning that we tracked the most recent 60 posts that he did, and the date that it started at was exactly 29 days ago, which means he does an average of 2 videos every day on TikTok. That should give you a clue on how frequently you're gonna wanna be posting. Now, when it comes to the headlines and the hook, I believe that that is gonna make a huge difference in whether or not people decide to watch your video. So let's just review some of the ones in the bottom 5. The first one is, are you pro nurture or pro nature? This was the bottom performing video in the last 60 days. And the hook, the opening statement he made is,
tend to be more nurture rather than nature.
I think what happened here is that even if people were interested, he gave away the punchline right at the beginning, so people really didn't have a reason to continue watching. Let's look at the second one. How your worldview affects your business. That's not a bad title. And then his opening statement was,
when there is no required meaning and a lot of language changes.
When I heard that, I didn't know what he was talking about. It was confusing. The hook was not concise. Now, this was taken out of a longer video, and his editor should have probably picked a spot where the first statement is extremely clear what exactly he's talking about. Now, the next title is How Amazon Manipulates You to Buy More Things. I think that's a great title. Now, the hook, the opening statement he made in that video is,
one of the ways Amazon manipulates people to buy more things.
And then he says they weave in reviews and things like that. I have a feeling that a lot of people don't have time to listen to 7 things, and they're not expecting a lot of value or a long form video inside of TikTok. That could be the reason, but that is just my theory. And the title for the next one is, I think everything is meaningless, and then we can just create whatever meaning we choose to. I'll tell you what, that title is too long. And here is what I'm always looking for. How can we create the shortest distance between when someone registers something in their eyeball to when they feel something? And what I feel when I see this is just a little bit of confusion, and it takes me a minute to process. Also, it's not a very exciting topic, and that might be why this one ended up as one of the lowest performers. Now, the last one of the lowest performers I'm gonna go through before we go into the high performers is the mistake most marketers and salespeople make. Great title, actually. I think it's a great title. And the hook is,
a lot of marketers and salespeople like to talk about the internal thoughts that someone's having.
And then he goes into some theory about that. And I think that there just wasn't enough reason for someone to watch. I think it's just not a strong hook. The statement is not clear what he's about to talk about. The editor picked a spot where that beginning statement did not hook me in, and I was kind of lost. So that was the last of the bottom 5. Let's jump to the top 5, and I think this is what you were waiting for. All right, thanks for sticking with me. Now we're gonna analyze the top performing videos. We're gonna look specifically at the top 5 titles and hooks among the most recent 60 videos that Alex Hormozi put on TikTok. Now, the title for this one is The Reason Why I Keep a Lot of Cash in My Bank Account. Ding, 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 ding. We're talking about money, right? And a lot of people are probably thinking, should I put money in my bank account? Should I invest it? Should I buy something? People are wondering all the time, should I buy crypto and things like that? And the hook is, This was an interview and someone asked him,
assuming $10+ million sitting in the bank today, maybe thanks to Layla, closer to 15, I'm guessing.
Oh, and I way more than that.
Now that statement just adds some mystery, and there was also a conversation going on, and you kind of feel like a fly on the wall, like, ooh, I'm hearing some high level conversations, and this could be very interesting. Next one is, I paid Grant Cardone $120,000 and this is what I learned. Really great. And he also put the name of a famous person in there. And that means that people who are Grant Cardone's fans are also going to be interested in this because there's now a relationship between the two. And the hook is pretty much just the title.
Grant Cardone taught me this lesson and I paid him $120,000 to do it, and I'll give it to you for free.
Immediately, it's a money statement, and it's also suspended disbelief. People can't believe. Now, if we just do the math here, that's $30,000 per hour. Now, people can't believe that you could get paid for that, paid that much money just for consulting. People are going to be wondering what on earth can be worth $30,000 per hour, and they're dying to hear it. Now we're gonna move on to the next one of the top 5, and this title is What to Say When Someone Asks You for a Discount. Great title, especially for anybody who's in sales. Anybody in sales, any business owner, in fact, everybody's been hit up at some point saying, can you make it cheaper? And his opening statement, the hook is,
Someone asks me for a discount, here's what I always say. I just say, I could do it for more.
He gave away the punchline, but it just opens up more questions. Like, how does that make sense that you say, I can do it for more when you're going in the opposite direction? And then he goes on to explain it. So it's okay to give away the punchline if it opens up a new loop, which is what he did here brilliantly. Now, we're gonna go to the second to the top performing video. The title is How Will You Spend Your Money When You're Making Over $1 million a month? Great title. Again, people are attracted to the topic of money. Super good title. The hook is,
I had $1 million in my bank account and I still had a Prius with a dent in the side door and a crack in the windshield. And when I pulled up to an event, someone was like, I thought you were supposed to be rich. And
very visual, very, very easy to imagine this. And here's the thing, he's telling a story. Again, a lot of people, they probably wonder, why do you dress in like, cheapo looking flannel shirts and your hair looks, whatever, wonky? And that question is probably in a lot of people's minds, and he answers it with a great hook and a story. Now, the grand winner, this is the highest performing video, and the title is, If I Have to Sleep Under a Bridge With You, I Will. And the hook is, he's in an interview and the guy asks,
you guys got married not because you guys were in love.
That hook is brilliant. It's a bit controversial. It's probably a little bit triggering for some people, but whether you agree or not, you will stick around to find the answer, and he explains a lot about their philosophy around that. Now, when I look at the difference between the bottom 5 and the top 5 videos, one of the biggest differences I notice is storytelling. 80% of the top 5 videos, he's telling a real life experience and he teaches something from that. Whereas 100% of the bottom 5, where he was just teaching theory, those ones did not perform nearly as well. Here's the other thing, looking straight at the camera, those ones always perform. And if you're looking off camera, make sure you're having a conversation with somebody and you bring them in. Otherwise people wonder, why aren't you looking at me? This is a video. So if you're looking to up your game and you think that Alex Hormozi is successful, which is hard to argue with, then that's what you wanna do to make your videos even better. Hey, click the link below to find out more.